Good evening to you, friends. Welcome back again. Today's video is going to be on changing your saddle on your acoustic guitar. How to change your saddle on acoustic guitar. And strings. These strings are so rusty it's painful to play this guitar. It actually hurts bad. You can't slide. Listen to that. It almost squeaks. They're so rusty. Anyways, we're going to, the strings are shot on this. I'm going to see what a difference it makes in the sound of it, because I am going to install a Tusk saddle. And this is a Blue Ridge guitar, a BR160. I don't know if it has a bone saddle or plastic. I've never checked it. It's the one that's always been in there. And this one is compensated. The one that's in there is not. So you should make it note out a little bit truer. The action looks pretty good, so I want to get this new saddle exactly the same height as the one that's in there now, because I like the action, where the action set. I set this, I think, at 5/64 on the top bass string and 3/64 on the bottom. That's where I set all of my guitars. That's kind of between the upper and lower specs that Martin recommends. If you haven't tried a Tusk saddle, you might want to invest in one of these. In fact, I would encourage you to do so, because, man, I'm putting them in all of my acoustic guitars that mean anything, and the ones I play the most. Actually, I've got three of them that this is one of them that I play quite a bit. This one hasn't been played for a couple of months, but anyhow, I'm putting these in all of my important guitars, so to speak. And I'm going to teach you how to do it. So first thing we got to do is get these strings off and get that saddle out, and then we have to cut this, sand it down to the same height that the one that's in there now is. I'll have to sand off at the bottom so I don't mess up this compensation or the arch to it. So hang on, I'll show you how to swap saddles in your acoustic box. Now, there's a lot of different ways to do this. I'm just going to show you the way I do it. You can make up your own habits. So this this is how I take the bridge pins out. I know this has disturbed people before. When I did it on one of my Martins, someone commented about gritting their teeth, but you got to be careful, you know. I've done it for so many years. I've never cut one of the heads off of the pins or even damaged them at all. You just lightly put those wire cutters around the head of the pin, rest it across the saddle, and it basically falls out. I'd like to mention too, you should always put your bridge pins back in the same hole. Most people don't know that and don't do it, but you should always put them back in the same hole, because your strings are a different size and they wear out a different size groove in the pins. And just to make everything fit right, you should always put them back in the same holes. See? Now, I don't know how you've been told to take the saddle out, but I want to show you the way I do it. I've done it for many years this way, and it always works. They're wire cutters again. Wire cutters are the most handy tool in your box. Get a hold of that puppy, and there you go. Usually one end of it will come up, and you can get a hold of it and pull it out with your fingers, but this worked just as well. So there's the saddle. We'll have to take a lot off of that tusk saddle. So I got to take the tusk saddle and sand it rather, the bottom of it, and get this same height right here that we have on this one. I hope I'm in the camera there. We want this same height up and down so our action doesn't move or change. Frets is holding up good. That's a good fret job. Looks like somebody did there. I wonder who did that. So hang on. Well, I'll show you how to match up saddles heights. I have marked the new saddle. What I did was just turn them upside down and laid them on a flat surface with the tops on the bottom. Laid them on a flat surface like so. This is the top of the saddle under here. So they both lay flat, and then I marked across here. So I have a little bit of a line on the tusk saddle, if you can see that. It's just something to go by. The main thing we want to do is get the right string height when we put this puppy back on. We want the right string height on the upper and lower side, the low E and the high E. Now, one way to get that straight, I put it in a vise here, and I've got my line across the very top of the vise. I can't find my damn sander, so I've got to use a belt sander. Normally I just use a regular small hand sander, but I think I loaned it out. Anyways, all we got to do now is sand that down until it's flat with this vise, and it will be just a little bit more than in height than what this one is. That way, that gives me a little bit, to work with, to take off, if I need to take more off. If you take too much off, you can't put it back on. A lot of people put shims in them. I don't like to do that. That saddle, again, the wood, is where you get a lot of your sound. If you put a piece of plastic shim or whatever in there, it's going to change the sound of it. Let me raise this up just a little bit so you can see what's going on. So we got to flatten this out now, right down until the sander hits the vise, and then I'll know it's really close to the line I marked on it. Getting very close. Not yet. Man, that tusk is some hard stuff. That tusk is some hard stuff, baby. I think we just about have contact. Almost broke the belt on the machine. Well, I got to work on the machine. Put another piece of sandpaper, another sandpaper belt on it. I don't think I can even finish with that. Hang on. Once more. Wow, that thing's hard, man. I think we won. That's a little bit right there. Bingo. Okay, so as long as you get the saddle in the vise right, there's really no way you can mess this up. You get it level. And there we are. Now, I'm going to do with the old one. Like I say, this Tusk saddle should be a little bit higher than that old one. And it is, just a tiny bit, I can see it. So we're perfect there. So there you go. Tusk saddle, ready to install. Hold on. Bone saddle or plastic, whatever it is, I forgot to check it. And Tusk saddle. Sometimes when you do this, I forgot to mention, sometimes you have to sand from the sides of it. You know, on either this side or this side, because it's too thick to fit down into the bridge slot. I've already checked this and I don't have to with this one, but you want a pretty tight fit if you can get it tight. That's fairly tight. I'd like to have that a little bit tighter than that, but I'm happy with it. You get strings on it, it's not going to go anywhere or move or come out of there or anything like that. Nothing like that's going to happen. That looks about the same height, roughly. But the only way to really tell is put strings on it. Measure the bass E string at the 12th fret for 5/64 is where it was, and 3/64 on the high E string. So let me get some strings, and I won't bore you with me stringing it up, but I'll string it up and then show you what it sounds like compared to how it sounded before. Hang on. .5/64 on the bass E string. It's exactly what we wanted. And 3/64 on the high side. Perfect. Absolutely what we wanted. It's excellent. I'll check it in playing position too, just to be on the safe side. This is the position it will be in most of the time. .5/64 and 3/64. Excellent. Martin specs, if any of you set any of these up, Martin specs is 3/32 minimum on the treble side and 7/64 maximum, and on the bass side they're 1/16 minimum and 5/64 maximum. If you get that, works on most guitars. If you get, you know, in between those maximums and minimums, you'll be a pretty happy camper. So
are we filming?
let's see what this thing sounds like.
It sounds pretty good, yes?
Of course, we got new strings on it too. That's a plus. That's always a plus. Can't stress that enough. But that Tusk saddle, if you knew what this guitar, it sounded good before with the old saddle in it. But boy, it sure sounds way better now. It's twice the volume it had before. I highly recommend Tusk saddles. Now, you know, probably nuts too, but at least you got to try the saddle. Try it. You can always put your old one back in if you don't like it. Anyway, that's the way you change saddles in your acoustic guitar. I should have probably filmed putting the strings on, or made mention when you're changing strings. Say when you put the first string on, I always pull it up to about the second peg and bend it, and then I get a sort of a sense of idea how much I'm going to wrap around the peg itself. The second string, pull it up to almost the third peg, and not quite, just each one of them almost up to the next peg. Bend it, stick the string through the hole to that bend, and start cranking. And usually you'll come out with a pretty even, nice job, and a dependable one that will, won't slip and will stay in tune. It's quick too, because it's not that many winds. So there's you a lesson on how to change your saddle and make it fit. Man, I put them in 3 guitars now, and all 3 of them are just unbelievable. It brightens the sound a little bit. You may not like that, but it also brings the bass, the bottom end up. It seems like whatever the guitar has, it just bumps it up to the next level, everything that it already has. So you should really try one of these. So thanks for watching. I hope somebody got something out of this, and can maybe put a saddle in their own guitar, or set their own action, or whatever. If you can't do it, send it to me. Thanks again to all the new subscribers. Thanks to the old ones for hanging around. Lots more to come on this channel, so stay tuned.
Cheers.